ask a question about how you conceive, this is for Scott basically, how this is going to be administratively organized once it's done. So is it going to be part of the JCC, or will it be run by federation?
No, there will be a separate 501c3, we established separate 501c3 with management that the donor will put together. We will work and help whatever way we can, but we will not have control over that in its entirety. It will not be part of the JCC. However, it is very possible, I'm not committing the JCC to this, but they do want to run programming in the area, and this may be the natural place for them to rent space to do programming.
Just one other thing, the building will still be owned by the foundation. It's not being owned by the donor, so it's still a Jewish property, if you will, and Scott's right, it will be operated by independent operators.
Two questions, quick. I wanted to know, what will Federation's role be in raising money for this facility, or will they be out of it completely? And other question, just wondering how this building's going to sustain itself. I mean, obviously they couldn't do it here.
Okay, so let me take a crack at that. As far as raising the money, the lead donor that is committed to a very large amount, it should sustain it for many years. I can't say forever, because who knows. We also got a commitment for many, many years from another donor that I don't know if they want their name public or not, so I'm going to wait on this, for $50,000 a year that I was able to secure about 10 days ago. So everybody waited to the end. They wanted to see, they wanted someone else to solve it, and which is a big number, you know, that every year to help offset the losses. As you say, how are you going to get the losses down to a manageable number? Well, there are a couple ways. One, a very modern, energy efficient, slightly smaller footprint, new building, new insulate, all that stuff, so it'll be cheaper to operate. Two, they will have some rent-paying tenants, including one of the agencies in the community will take some space for offices that is currently paying rent to a building somewhere else in town that isn't just a private building, so that will help. Some of the other users will probably have like a percentage rent or some formula where they'll help offset it, and the donor's generosity will probably make up the difference. I don't expect them, because they can run it more entrepreneurial than a JCC where you have boards and committees. My sense is they will be able to run it much less expensive. They'll probably eliminate certain heavily losing areas and hopefully shorten that, where the check each year the gentleman will write won't be as big as what we would have had to do had we not been able to put something together. Yes. Yes, sir.
Slightly different direction. What do you mean by modest fitness area?
By modest for you?
Compared to what we have now.
It will not be an executive health club. We're not sure yet if there will be showers or lockers. We don't know. And again, we're rushing out to tell you this good news before Rosh Hashanah, because we want you to be happy. We all want to be happy, and we're all going to thank God. And I don't mean that in a funny manner. But we don't know yet. But I think it's going to be, there's a company out there called Planet Fitness, okay, which has facilities, aerobics, things of that sort. But it's, I won't call it Spartan, but it's what it is. You go in, you work out, take your towel, very candidly, you go home. Now, if we could tie that into the showers at the swimming pool, we could make a shidduch, but we don't know yet. But it will not be what you currently have, because that one's losing quite a bit of the money, good, bad, or indifferently. So there will be a workout facility of some sort. Again, because we've moved so quickly on this and we wanted to bring the good news to you, it hasn't been finalized by the donor or with the overview, very candidly, of the Federation, Foundation, and our real estate committee move that forward.
The new strip mall model seems to be,
We have a question.
Yes.
Do you have plans to bring in a kosher restaurant again? That's number one. And number two, what is the square footage that you are raising here? Right.
Okay, so currently, if you take the pool off, you have about 55,000 feet. So it'll probably be 2/3 the size, but it'll be laid out in a more efficient manner. The one area that we're not sure about is the gymnasium. One of the things is all the new schools have been built. Most of them have gymnasiums, and it may be an opportunity to reuse those in the evenings for community programming, floor hockey, and whatever. That's a very expensive space, one with the wood floors, but just heating and cooling that big rectangle was one of the big losers. The food there has not been addressed. My guess is there'll be some sort of snack bar because there'll be people and there'll be an opportunity coffee, but I don't know. They're talking about it. A full-service restaurant is challenging. That was a tough deal. It wasn't economically viable. I'm not sure. You know, the community's struggling with the restaurants it has on a better, frankly, commercial location in Greenfield, most of them. But I would imagine there'll be something, maybe more of a Starbucks kind of space. It's because this came Wednesday night, this is the kind of stuff that over the next 30 to 60 days will get flushed out as architects and budgets are made. But there's a significant multi-million-dollar commitment from a person to make this happen. So we're hoping, to get, it's going to be balancing what people want versus what's sustainable and affordable and all that. Yes, sir.
Some of us carry health insurance where funding is available for fitness clubs. And this is acceptable as dues payment for members like the Y in Royal Oak, some LA fitness locations, and there's a way perhaps increasing membership.
Yeah, I don't want to speak for the new entity, but I can't imagine that they wouldn't. What?
We'll look at
Yeah,
everything.
we'll bring that up.
Opportunity,
Yeah.
But I really, I would hate to tell you yes or no, okay? 'Cause we
But
don't
it's a
know.
good point.
We simply
We'll
don't know.
make sure that gets.
Question over here.
In terms of revenue generation, will the new facility have like a banquet facility, a place where people can have, and a kitchen, so that people can rent space for programs?
A lot of this, I think we just don't know yet. I mean, the things that they've sort of committed to with the pool and fitness and classrooms and gathering space, over the next month or two, we'll bring all that out. We got this, as I said, Wednesday night this deal got done. We had 2 working days to talk through and understand economics and how legitimate and all that. And it all passed the test. This is a real offer from a real philanthropist. But that type of stuff, I can't speak to it one way or another at this point.
We got a question back here.
This is for Ron or Aaron. The money that was raised by the committee, what will happen to that money now?
Aaron Lyons.
Well, since I'm right here. That was a question brought up by people. We've raised at least $10,000 and we've given out a lot of scholarships. Thank you all. The T-shirts are still available because we are still a JCC family, and hopefully we always will be. We have put the scholarships on hold. When the new health club opens up, we hope to give those scholarships to the new operator, which is an incentive for them to build a facility that we would like to give out scholarships to. So that's where it is now, and we've always had the fail-safe of giving it to 3 charities, which we all voted on, that are Federation charities, and the Federation has been very helpful in helping us raise the money or hold the money that we have raised. So that's it in a nutshell. I'm going to get some more questions. This is Shaky. Wait for the mic here so everyone can hear you.
So I just want to understand something. Will the Federation continue to give X amount of dollars? I know it's been about $1.5 million to the Jewish Center in West Bloomfield, but they are not going to be assisting with the financial issues here, only for the center that's out in West Bloomfield.
So this will not be part of the JCC. We will still be supporting the
I
JCC.
understand
We are
that.
not sure of the amount, because each year we reevaluate that number. There's no commitment beyond any given year to any of our agencies. The funder is committed to pay for everything that's needed to do this right.
When is the health club going to close?
August 31st.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Standing until you finalize everything you need to do, so tearing it down. Why don't you leave it open?
Initially, the building, as we know it, will close August 31st. There will be security, we'll keep the light heat on, and then as we move forward with the donor, decisions will be made. So right now, the building will be closed. All right, it'll be protected. Obviously not the optimum, but if you were going to tear down the entire building and rebuild it, it was going to be closed one way or the other. It will be closed. We don't know, and I think Scott addressed it in his remarks, we don't know if we can reopen the pool while they're demolishing another part of the building and putting in new heaters and et cetera, et cetera. We don't know. Again, we finalized this conceptual process and deal a few days ago, all right? And it's all good news. It's all good news. But a lot of the details have not been worked out and probably won't be worked out until the architects and the actual builders get involved with this.
We have a question in the back there.
It is good news, and one of the things I'm concerned about, however, is, and I'm a longtime resident of this community, excuse me, and this morning my wife and I went to the YMCA to take out a membership. And what you're proposing sounds to me like a project that's going to be going on for at least a year or so, probably 2 years. What are your plans, or have you thought about all the people that are going to leave, and how will you get them back?
Get them back in terms of a health facility, or keep them here as a result of it being a Jewish building, anchoring, well, as an anchor in the Jewish community is a Jewish building, with the swimming pool ultimately reopening and being sensitive to the needs of the entire population. That is what it is. We're going to redo it. We're going to make it a better building, a much more useful building, and a building that, God willing, breaks even financially on behalf of the donor and the agencies and other folks that will be here, including, I might add, the Jewish Community Center, who, by the way, as part of their allocation, will be using money for programming in this area. They've said that from day one, and I will tell you that will continue to happen, whether it be in this building, or some of the synagogues and temples in this area, or even some of the public schools who have shown an interest in running some joint programming with us in the Oak Park and the Berkeley area. As far as the health club is concerned, or the health facility, however that will ultimately be defined, when it's ready, we'll go out, or the operator will go out with a marketing program to try to enhance people to come back. But I can't answer it, because very candidly, I don't know.
Yeah, two quick questions. First of all,
Yes
do
and
you
yes.
foresee this continuing to be eventually a Jewish center, not as part of the Jewish JCC organization, but in the way that you have a standalone Jewish center in Ann Arbor, for example, and a member of the Jewish Centers of North America? And the other thing, are there going to be there are many functions that are taking place here, many meetings and classes and things, are they going to continue in other locations in the Oak Park, Southfield, Royal Oak area?
The answer to your second question is yes. I think I just addressed that. And in fact, the Jewish Center, once this building is repurposed and reopened again, will hold classes here and seminars, and hopefully book fair will still be here. It won't be in this building, obviously, in the next number of months, but it certainly could be at the temple or at one of the shuls, one of the synagogues in the area. As far as it being part of the Jewish Community Center, the answer is no, because it is an agency that couldn't support it then. Now, I don't think it'll be able to support it a year from today. I call it a Jewish communal center rather than a Jewish community center. It's a play on words, I understand that. But again, we have an independent operator. It will not be part of the Federation. It will not be an agency of the Federation. Okay? It'll be a tenant of the foundation with independent operators, overseen by and assisted by us, you, I know you're not shy, and the donor himself.
I've never been real, I made a proposal, and I was never crazy about this hit a home run or strikeout way of doing things. From what you've mentioned up there, it sounds like there were 2 people that stepped forward that wanted to donate any money. I think there should be 200, 2,000 people contributing. Especially if it means that none of us here can come here for a kosher meal, not just a cookie, or else a health club, an executive club where we can take a shower before we go off to work. You try going to West Bloomfield from here and then going the other way to work. It's almost like going to Ann Arbor and back. Thank you.
Thank you.
How will you communicate with us about the progress of the building?
What's gonna happen over the next month or two is the donor and his architects and builders will get together, our foundation staff will work with them, taking the information that we got from the survey and others, and as the plan progresses, we will be, I don't know if it's a monthly email correspondence, something to get the community to know what the timelines are, what's gonna happen. Yeah, I would think, you know, right after the holidays, there'll be able to be a much more concrete plan that will, you know, evolve like any business as it goes. You may start with these 3 things and then add 2 and what have you. But that plan will be created and communicated. One of the good things by creating this group is now we have a database of people who are sort of grassroots stakeholders in this, and we'll make sure that we communicate and keep everybody in the loop. Sir?
I have a question. Well, we got the mic back here.
Oh, okay. I was overruled.
Those of us that exercise religiously in this community, we have, it's like a family thing now, and it's part of our life. And from what I've heard, we don't know when we'll know what this facility for exercising is going to take place. So we're going to have to go someplace else. And I want to just say that if you want people to come back here, and I will sure want to come back here, it must be competitive to other places. And I would like to know when we could see a plan so we can make the proper decisions for our.
Sure. Look, there's going to be a period of time where all of us will have to go somewhere else for fitness because it's not going to be available.
See, some of these places want to sign up for a year.
Yeah, look, I would think a year is the realistic number. You know, it could be a little longer. You know, you have winter issues, and can you get this? You know, my guess is it won't start until April because I can't see a scenario where you get plans and approvals in the ground before the frost. So, yeah, I mean, I think it will have to be competitive because in order to get the people to come back. And I think the inherent advantage is, like you said, this is family. And that's, I think, the best selling point.
So don't minimize the goodies that brings us here.
We'll try to work with them on that.
Okay. I have 2 quick questions.
Yes.
The first one is, as has been the case, are non-Jewish people going to be allowed to be members? You keep saying it's a Jewish facility, but right now there are many, many people who are members of this place who are non-Jewish. And the second question is, will the people who work here get to keep their jobs?
So let me take the second one first, because I've spoken to that. Many of the people who work here, the 16 full-time people, I think 13 are going to be rehired at the other center. Because there's not going to be a period where, other than the swimming people, there won't be jobs. I mean, there's construction jobs. My guess is they're going to go somewhere else, and then if the opportunity arises and they want to come back, I'm sure people will talk to them. You know, I don't know, did that come up in your discussions? It wasn't addressed one or another, was it?
It really was never addressed. Remember, it'll be another operator. It's not going to be Federation. But again, the donor has indicated that it will retain a Jewish flavor, environment, Jewish building. I don't know what their membership rules will be if they have any. We don't know.
Yeah, I would guess they would keep
I have a
the
question
same historic model.
I'm not sure what the role of the donor is in terms of, other than financing. Will the donor then be operating the facility? Will he be the boss? Will his team then come in and run this facility?
No. His role, their role, is to bankroll a new building and oversee the
So who will run the place?
So we talked about finding a 501c3 operator who will oversee it and coordinate it with perhaps an operator for the pool, perhaps an operator for the fitness area. That remains to be seen. Right now, the donor has stepped forward and said, if this costs X, Y, or Z, I will pay for it. And that's why we're bringing you the good news today. There's a lot of T's to cross and a lot of I's to dot.
Yeah.
We don't have the answers to that.
In a perfect world, we would have had this conversation a month from now, but people with the deadlines and originally we were to close in May. We extended it 90 days or 120 days, and that was expensive. And we still don't have a source for that. We're going to figure out how we're going to pay for it. The donor will certainly have a role in that. We will help them in any way we can. But they're sophisticated business people that.
Extending the deadline?
No.
No.
There's a question over there.
Yeah.
I may not be saying this right, but it's a brilliant solution. And I think that people are nitpicking. They don't get it. Somebody is saving this building. And you're doing the best you can. It's not going to be a Jewish center, but it's going to exist, as the alternative would have been nothing. Also, I think to have a venue here for bar and bat mitzvahs or whatever, weddings. I have 2 daughters that just joined Planet Fitness, 33 and 26, believe it or not. And we need to bring in new people and say, come back, that live here in Huntington Woods and Oak Park. And I think it's absolutely brilliant. Thank you.
Let's take that as almost the final question. I see one other person with her hand raised. So, okay, so we've got a couple final questions, and then we'll wrap up. Can you
One second.
it out? Oh,
No, it's in the back here.
Aaron's going to go back there, and then you'll come up.
Well,
I think it's great as well. I'm Charlie Silo. I've been running a program for Holocaust survivors out of this building for the past 22 years with the help of Leslie Magidson, who I think deserves a round of applause from everyone. So my question is, will the donor be is willing to meet with some of us who would like to continue at some point down the road services for example, the survivors, to have our Cafe Europa, our support groups, etc., all here. Are they going to be amenable to meet with us, with the community at large, for our what the needs of the community are?
Great question. The donor has said that's exactly what they want to do here. Whether they meet with you individually or not, that's exactly what they want. They want this to remain a communal center and operate with the needs of the community as best as it can, and for programming that will help the population, educate the population, assist the population.
And Charlie,
so I think the answer is yes.
And whatever we can do, obviously, for the survivor population,
we would work
near term, long term, you let us know.
And the same, by the way, the same goes for the center, and the same goes for a lot of other programs that are currently being
Jewish Senior Life and others.
Here. The answer is yes.
And with that answer, yes, that answers yes in advance to my question, Larry, which is, I was going to urge community participation in the planning in whatever ways are feasible. We do have an organized community right here, and we would encourage the 501c3 to take community participation on its board, 1, and 2, some kind of community participation in planning. Obviously, that has to be worked out, but we would like to see a way of funneling the needs of the community to the operator and creating communication with the operator as an ongoing process.
Again, I'm not the donor.
Right.
But thank you anyway.
I'm going to pretend I am.
I can't speak for the donor, nor do I pretend that I will. I think certainly there'll be communication, whether it be directly or indirectly through the Federation and the Foundation. But the donor is pretty sensitive. Otherwise, this person never would have stepped up to the tune of millions of dollars, to, as was so eloquently stated, to save this building and to retain the flavor of what we currently have, only hopefully on a higher plane as we go forward.
We have two final
We have
questions.
two final? Okay, go ahead.
This lady wanted to ask, who is going to approve the final plans for the building, which is what you just touched on, and how much input will the community actually have to the plans, like the details? So I think Mr. Wolf just addressed that. And then one more question.
Can we hear from the mayor of Oak Park?
There are some activities that don't require special equipment and things like that. And I'm wondering if there would be a room available in the building as it's being repurposed for, let's say, exercise groups, for example.
I don't think, yeah, the problem is, the staff, you're not gonna be, August 31st is sort of the day we're gonna have to vacate. The JCC, in a sense, is out of it after that day. Federation, we don't have staff to do that and sit there, so I don't think so. Now, we could help maybe find another place in the neighborhood, that one of the schools, synagogues, have empty buildings, empty rooms, particularly some of the synagogues during the week, that sit there empty, so you can call us and we can try to help with that.
But all this equipment, you will take in another facility or it will stay here? What are you going to do with this?
We don't.
JCC owns the equipment, I don't know what the plan is.
The good equipment today, I think, is being moved out to West Bloomfield, at least for the time being.
Yeah, the new operators will get all new equipment.
Okay, I've had a request to acknowledge, as Scott and Larry did before, Marion McClellan, just wave to folks who've been part of this process. Thank you very much. And finally, I want to end with before a thank you, I want to end with a question. Next Sunday is the last Sunday. How would you folks feel about an event to say goodbye to the facility? How many of you would be willing to come? There is a goodbye event on Monday. It's planned on Monday. We'll have to check that out then. Okay.
Monday at 5 p.m. 31st.
Okay, so we will talk, the steering committee will talk about a farewell event. Okay. Todd, would you raise your hand? Todd Krieger in back, who's at the very least been on the phone with many of us and emailed with many of us, and Ted Cohen over towards the front. I want to thank you personally for being in communication with us as much as you could over these 8 months. And you've been a very important part of linking the community with the Federation. Thank you. And finally, thanks again to Scott and to Larry and the Federation.